Hey guys, this is God of Politics, and welcome back to a brand new video. But before we get started with this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But in this video, I will be talking about how the Democrats actually won those two Senate seats in Georgia and in turn won the Senate. I'm also going to be talking about my predictions, how accurate were they, and just talking more about this race because it is truly astonishing when you put it into perspective. But this is an article from the Washington Post titled "Stacey Abrams Showed That Democrats Can Match the GOP at State Level Organizing. Democrats tend to focus on individual races, Republicans eye the long run." So this is certainly true. You look at the state legislative races where Republicans have majorities in a lot of places where Democrats do win statewide. You look at places like Michigan, places like Wisconsin, places like Pennsylvania, and now places like Arizona and Georgia where Republicans do have majorities in the state legislature despite the fact that they aren't doing as well statewide. So we can see here that it talks about Stacey Abrams, who is the founder of two key political organizations, one for registering voters, the other for fighting voter suppression, is getting a lot of justified credit for the Democratic victories in the two U.S. Senate races in Georgia this week. Former President Barack Obama was among those to call the results, quote, "a testament to the power of the tireless and often unheralded work of grassroots organizing." Now, this is very important. Grassroots organizing is a very important way, and it's a very good way of getting voters to come to your side and also turn out from your side, getting voters that are on your side to turn out. So I do think that that is the most effective way to get voters rather than doing rallies or doing advertising. That really isn't that effective when you compare it to actual grassroots organizing. And it was especially shown here because this runoff was all about turnout. We knew it was all about turnout. We knew that the Democrats needed to get out their voters, and that's exactly what they did. Not only did the Republicans not turn out, but the Democrats did turn out. And so it does say here, for a decade, well before she lost her 2018 bid to be governor, Abrams has been working alongside other groups, many led by black women, to build strong local party loyalty and to turn people out for state and national elections. The fruits of these labors are that Georgia turned blue for the 2020 presidential election and that Democrats will have control of the U.S. Senate. Abrams is receiving praise in part because she succeeded in an area in which Republicans have long had a clear advantage: effective year-round state-level organizing. Democrats have fared reasonably well at the presidential level and are prodigious fundraisers. Are they really learning how to build strong local operations in the states, or will Georgia remain an outlier? Because this is very crucial. You compare a state like Georgia to a state like North Carolina. Now, they do have similar demographics. There's many differences. Georgia is more diverse. Georgia does have one main city, whereas North Carolina is a lot more small towns. But there are many similarities between the states. But in North Carolina, Democrats have the governorship, but they don't have either state legislative house. They don't have either senators. They haven't won the state since 2008. And before that, they haven't won it since 1976. They have struggled to get wins in the state of North Carolina, whereas in Georgia, when you use that door knocking, use the grassroots ways of actually turning out voters, it actually does work. And, Democrats did lack a lot of this in a lot of other states. You can look at the voter registration numbers. They were very good for the Republican Party, and then a lot of people use that as reasoning for why the Republicans would win the presidential election. You look at a state like Pennsylvania, where Democrats had lost like net 200,000 voter registrations since 2016, but they still ended up winning the state. But, maybe that did help the Republican Party, and it's just, the Democrats were not able to match it. But when they actually do, have these grassroots ways of turning out voters, it does end up working. And that is one of the main reasons that Democrats won these seats, because, you look at the turnout, and it was sky high in areas with a lot of black voters, and black voters do overall have a lower turnout level than white voters or, than other demographics, than college-educated voters, than suburban voters. But, they were able to turn out those voters, which is something that we haven't really seen. And, it does say black turnout dipped in 2016 to cost Democrats the White House. Less consequential was that Trump gained ground in 2020 with black and Latino voters relative to 2016. Even as Biden took the White House, Democrats lost seats in the House and will only narrowly control Congress. But, you compare the results of how Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff did to how Biden did. Biden did worse than Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock in Georgia's 7th district, which is a very diverse area. It's actually a majority-minority district, despite the fact that it was won by Donald Trump by 7 points in 2016. And Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff actually did better in Georgia's 7th district than they did in Georgia's 6th district, because Georgia's 6th district is a whiter district. That's the kind of demographic that Joe Biden did better with. But, besides the point of the grassroots organizing, the things that Stacey Abrams did, that was very, very important. But you also look at the individual ways that each of these candidates improved. I mean, this is just absolutely insane to see. So we look at the 2002 Senate race. Saxby Chambliss won by just under 30 percentage points. And then we go to Gwinnett County today, we can see that Jon Ossoff won by just over 20 percentage points. That is an absolutely insane shift. That's a 50-point shift, and you can just see it looking at these margins by precinct. You can see a lot of these areas that were very, very Republican are now very, very Democrat. And even up here, up in the north here, areas that are quite exurban, quite, you could say rural in some cases, these areas were Republican, now not so Republican anymore. And that's very, very crazy to see, and it's just a testament to the work that the Democrats have been doing, and also the diversification of these suburban areas. I don't have the map with me right now, but Gwinnett County has been diversifying a lot, and that's part of the reason why Republicans have been doing worse in Georgia. So the argument that can be made, and is often made by people who are very skeptical of these suburbs trending left, they say, oh well, you just run a candidate that's better than Donald Trump, another type Mitt Romney type candidate, and then you'll win the suburbs back. But unless you can make some big ground and big inroads with minority voters, that's going to be very difficult to do, because that's part of the reason why these suburbs are trending left to begin with, because Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock did better than Joe Biden did with minority voters, and that was what gave them a victory, because not only did they have the turnout, but they had a lot of the voters switching to their side. And you have a lot more of those voters living here to begin with. That does help you a lot, and it's really not looking good for the Republican Party in the state of Georgia. We can also look at this map here. This is the a testament to the turnout that they had. But you can see the absentee voting here. Warnock won it by 36.2 percentage points, winning in a lot of very Republican areas, even Rome County, where Warnock barely cracked 30%. We can look at the early vote, which Joe Biden actually lost the in-person early vote. Warnock won the in-person early vote, doing very well, especially in these black majority areas where turnout was sky high. And we look at the election day vote, and Loeffler just did not get the numbers she needs, even though it was made up 30% of the electorate. It did not get the numbers that they need. I believe it was around 19% of the electorate for the general election and about a 61-39 split. So if Democrats did not have those early vote numbers, they would have lost. But they really turned out their voters early, and we knew that they turned out their voters early, and that's why so many people were optimistic the Democrats could win these races. And I underestimated the turnout for the election day. I did not think we'd have like 1.4 million people to turn out, but we did have that many people. I thought it'd be around 850,000, but really I did underestimate that, because we had about 3.1 million early votes and we had about 1.4 million election day votes. In the general election, it was only 900,000, so it was really difficult to see that turnout was going to be that high. But what I did underestimate, I underestimated the Democrats. A lot of people get at me, they say, oh, you always overestimate the Democrats, you always are biased towards the Democrats. Well, I actually underestimated the Democrats in both races. I had Jon Ossoff winning by 0.9 percentage points. He won by 0.2 percentage points. I had Warnock winning by 0.5 percentage points. He won by 2 percentage points. We're basically done counting. There's a little bit more votes left to count, which will increase their leads. But basically, this is how it is now. And I've waited a little bit to make this video because they are still having votes trickle in. But I was off by 1.5 percentage points in the special election, and I was off by 0.3 percentage points in the regular election, which is all right. I'm not too happy about my prediction. I think I could have done a lot better, but it is what it is. I do think that the prediction was overall accurate. If you look at my county map, I think I haven't fully checked into every single county, but I'm pretty sure my county map was almost 100% accurate in terms of the numbers that Democrats would get. You look at the shift of November, it was basically blue shifts everywhere except for North Georgia, but Republicans didn't really net much there because of the fact that turnout was so low. They had absolutely abysmal turnout in North Georgia, and they didn't get the numbers that they needed on election day to win. But you even had like huge shifts in the Atlanta suburbs, doing better than Joe Biden did, and he did better than Joe Biden overall, both Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock. And the big mistake that I had was saying that Jon Ossoff would run ahead of Raphael Warnock. I really did not estimate that Kelly Loeffler would be this bad of a candidate. She was really that bad. I mean, who would have thought that saying that your opponent on as a radical liberal who's going to be the first Marxist senator turned out to be a bad campaign strategy. Tying yourself to Trump when you're picked to be a candidate that would be moderate and appeal to the suburbs. Well, that ended up being a failed campaign strategy. I underestimated how bad of a candidate she ended up being. I do think that we could compare them individually. Jon Ossoff is a better candidate than Raphael Warnock, but again, Perdue is a much better candidate than Kelly Loeffler. So it did end up having about a 0.8% ticket split, which is more than some people thought, less than some other people thought. But I do think that Jon Ossoff is a good candidate, and I do think he's going to be in the seat for a long time if he really wants it. There's comparisons you can make between him and Joe Biden. Elected to the Senate in an upset from when they were very young, maybe ends up running for president soon in the future. So we will see what happens, but that could be very, very interesting. But that's going to be a long time from now. But we do have Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock who have both won the races, and this is very, very historical. I cannot stop talking about this enough because, not only did Democrats control the Senate, but they have the first black senator in Georgia. You also have a Jewish senator in Georgia, which is the first time you're having a Jewish senator in the Deep South in, I think, like 150 years or something. It's very remarkable that we're having these very big shifts in the Deep South, and, maybe Democrats keep making gains there, maybe they don't, but I do think that Georgia is a state where they do have a bright future. I think Stacey Abrams has helped them. I think the diversifying has helped them, and I think their improvement in the suburbs has helped them, and it is going to be a problem for the GOP in the future. But thank you all for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But again, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys later.